Yeah, so it looks like the license working. They haven't started talking yet, so and that's the next thing good. So really,
Minnesota is like not that nice. Portable, to the north with good water and stuff. So it's almost all the stuff. North is like, north is like, so that's a key, right, from like Wausau to Boise.
Good morning and welcome to the Rochester Century Auditorium. We have a great event this morning to kick off the 2025 Minnesota Girls Swim and Dive season. All three Rochester teams will have their swimmers compete in the 4th annual Rochester Century Pentathlon. This is a 50-yard distance for each stroke. Freestyle, breast, back, and butterfly. The 5th event is also unique, not swum during the season, which is a 100-yard individual medley. This is a fun race that involves a 25-yard length for each stroke, and along with the 50 breast, back, and fly, are not contested in any other meets during the season. These shorter distances will give the swimmers a chance to get some initial baseline times for their coaches that they can use to work towards improvement later on in the season. It's also great to see the camaraderie between the three Rochester teams. Century, Mayo, and JM will compete against each other in duels later in the season, but this is just a fun event to get back into the pool and gives the swimmers a chance to experience a very different high school atmosphere compared to club swimming. Because the event distances are short, we will not have a lot of time to provide too many previews during the meet, but there will be a few breaks between each event. Sit back, enjoy, and we should be starting at about 9:30.
I have some in my office, unless there's some on the top drawer. No, I think it's just duct tape, yeah. That's what I'm doing. No, I didn't. But then literally 3 years ago.
A quick preview for some of the returning swimmers from each of the three teams. Starting with Century, they are led by returning state swimmers, captains Sophie Blitz and Chloe Magnuson. Joining them on the state qualifying relays are Sarah Hami, Giant Gingras, and Pool. In addition, section finishers in the top 16 include Senior, Hubert Senior, and Amelia Bronze, as well as Haley Dow Senior and Bolton. For the juniors returning for Century, Kenzie Craddock, as well as John Jingles. Century also has divers who are not going to be competing this morning, Sarah Rutledge and Kendall Mengelbrook. For Century, also on the section last year, were freshmen Harley Lilly and 8th graders Delia Wagstaff, Josie Bartford, and Quinn Burrow. That rounds out the returning swimmers for Century. We will talk about some of the new swimmers that Century has when we get to the events. Moving on to the Spartans from male, their returning state individual entrants are Madeline Dow, senior captain, and junior Elise Weingarten. They also qualified relays for state, and those qualifiers included some seniors, so there will be some new relay entrants for some of those relays on their top relay. Section returners for male also include Seattle Rockar, diver Charity Gabriel, juniors Amelia Fisher, Sarah Herman, Penelope Hauser, Beatrix Shabuka. For male will also be sophomores Haley Wong, Dylan Rockar, and Lakeland Lindquist. And finally, for the underclassmen, male has Amelia Dean, Harper Mueller, and Madeline Beers. For the John Marshall Rockets, their top returning swimmer will be going to the University of Louisville to swim collegiately, Julia Oakland. Julia finished in the top 4 at state in both of her events. And John Marshall also qualified several relays with the strength of fellow senior Mason Pellingill, junior Abby Tree, and freshman Kayla Mingo. Those 4 will represent the strong returning swimmers for male who place at the second events. Male will also have, John Marshall will also have a number of new swimmers, some of which we will see again this morning. So those events should start in about 10 minutes.
Good morning, everyone. We want to welcome you to the 2025 Rochester Pentathlon. Can you give it up for all of our athletes in the pool today? Athletes, can you give it up for all of our fans in the stands today? My name is Megan Magnuson. I'm one of the co-head coaches here of Century Swimming and Diving.
My name is Dale Magnuson. I'm the other co-head coach of Century Swimming and Diving.
Hi, my name is Julia Parlett. I am the head coach of Mayo Swimming and Diving. And my name is Lauren Kapczynski, and I'm the head coach of the John Marshall Girls Swimming and Diving.
We want to thank you all for being here today. This is a kickoff to the 2025 High School Girls Swimming and Diving season. Rochester has a long tradition of strong swimming in this community, and a lot of that foundation of that strong swimming rests with our seniors. We have a very large group of seniors that we want to celebrate. So seniors from JM, Mayo, and from Century, would you join us over here on the bulkhead? Yeah, give it up for our seniors. A number of these seniors began their swimming journey in high school swimming and diving during 2020. That was the time of COVID, a time that we'd all like to forget or we've even forgotten. It was a very difficult time. A lot of these seniors, when they were 7th graders, came to the pool deck and we were wearing masks and they had to be separated and we could have no more than 2 people per lane and we were running multiple practices. And they endured and they have thrived and we celebrate you today. So could you please give these seniors one more big round of applause? We are here today to simply have fun. So if you're in the stands, if you're on the deck, whomever you are, if you just use your voice, use your energy, this morning is simply about having fun and celebrating all of these tremendous student athletes that we have. So athletes, are you ready to get started?
I do want to give one more huge thank you. We have representatives from all 3 schools helping us run this meet today. They are volunteering their time, our admin staff and our starters. Please give a big round of applause to them.
Athletes also, at the conclusion of our meet today, we do have in the North Cafeteria right adjacent to here some food for you. It's an opportunity for you to meet your sister swimmers from across town and just spend a little time getting to know each other and reconnecting as a Rochester swimming family. So with that, we get started. Let's begin the 50 freestyle. Here we go.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Rochester Pentathlon. We are, as Megan mentioned, going to be starting things out with the 50 freestyle. Or should we actually do the national anthem first? That would probably make more sense, wouldn't it? I don't know. That seems like the thing that we should do with, swim meets and everything. So if everybody could actually rise and face the front wall for the national anthem. I can find one quickly and the different teams and what they're comprised of. So, starting out in alphabetical order, Rochester John Marshall is coached by Lauren Kolisinski, assisted by Kevin Bachman, captains are Julia Ogren, Martin McGuire, Mason Hill, and Lily Pencock. You can cheer. That's okay. That was very anemic. So, let's hear it for Jan. Better. Next up is the Mayo Spartans, are head coached by Julia Perlin, assisted by Justin Kemp and Scott Dirks. Their captains are Elizabeth Carlson, Madeline Gavin, Zia Rocker, Charity Gauthier, and Soraya Magumbo. The Spartans. I know that there's not that much of a delay on the microphone, so you can cheer after I announce the people. You know, that's a thing that can happen. And your hosts for this are the Century Panthers, coached by Dylan Megan Magnuson, assisted by Jocelyn Martin, Logan Pencil, Michaela Durbin, and Lily Linden. Captains are Annie Crom, Ken, Katie Dow, Sophie Blix, Logan Magnuson, Shay Carroll, and Sarah Hami. Okay, now that we've done all of those different things, we're going to start out with event number 1, heat number 1, swimming in lane 3 for JM is Annabelle Penwell, lane 4 for Mayo is Eliza Davis, and lane 5 for JM is Isabel Summers.
Front switch, front.
The first 2 heats of this 53. We have swimmers who did not have a time, so these are all new swimmers. And we've got a new swimmer, Eliza Davis from Mayo, freshman. And we have 7th grader Isabel Summers from Grand Lake. Looks like it's going to be lane 5 for Eliza Davis.
Next is heat number 2. In heat number 2, 4th century, in lane 1 is Elizabeth Barcom. Lane 2 for JM is Alexandra Wilkinson. Lane 3 for Century is Ari Perbo. Lane 4 for JM is Hannah John. Lane 5 for Mayo is Casey Obert. Lane 6 for JM is Vivian Peters. Lane 7 for JM is Nora Larson. Lane 8 for JM is Abby Larson.
With E2, like you said, we've got some new swimmers, but not necessarily near the water. Leading it out fast in lane 6 is Vivi Peters. She's one of the new swimmers. She goes to Woods High School, but swims for JM. Woods does not have a swim program, so John Marshall is able to bring in a lot of great new swimmers through that, and Vivi's going to be one of the strongest new contributors. Vivi finishes in 29-15. 4, so that'll be the time to beat in some of the upcoming weeks. She is then followed by Hannah Johns, and then Casey Obert, and then Alexandra Wilkinson.
Heat 3, swimming in lane 1 for JM is Eloise Baum. Lane 2 for JM is Sophie Branstad. Lane 3 for Mayo is Elizabeth White. Lane 4 for Century is Olivia Cornelius. Lane 5 for JM is Charlotte Grimhofer. Lane 6 for JM is Perez Antonio Gabriela. Lane 7 for Century is Sophia Chambra. Lane 8 for JM is Madeline Kelly.
Madeline Keller, followed by her teammate in lane 1, Eloise Bones. So we've got the outside smoke here in heat number 3. Both Eloise and Madeline are going to be new swimmers who are looking to contribute significantly for the JM varsity. And it's going to be Eloise who comes back and wins it in a 27:59. And that's going to be a time good enough to be a top 16 finish today overall.
And up next is heat 4. Swimming in lane 1 for JM is Shelby Lewis. Lane 2 for Mayo is Barrett Betzkov. Lane 3 for Century is Cora Erickson. Lane 4 for Century is Summer Long. Lane 5 for Century is Layla Hubert. Lane 6 for Mayo is Emilia Palladino. Lane 7 for Century is Bryce McFadden. Lane 8 for Mayo is Ava Howard.
This is the first heat where we have seat times for everybody. So we will now see swimmers probably grouped a little bit closer together. And each heat from here on out will get progressively a little bit faster. So it looks like we've got S in lane 3 from Century is Cora Erickson. And then lane 6, Amelia Palladino from Mayo. Up, but Marin Benskoder passes Amelia. So it's Cora, Marin, Amelia, and then Summer Wong.
And heat 5, swimming in lane 1 for Mayo is Sharon Lee. Lane 2 for Century is Matilda Hammer. Lane 3 for Century is Laura Kurt. 4 for Mayo is Elizabeth Carlson. 5 for Century is Josephine Murphy. 6 for Century is Shay Carroll. 7 for Century is Kyla Mead. And 8 for Century is Karina Renispato.
Off of heat 5. Heat 5 represents some swimmers who had quite a bit of varsity experience for the 3 schools, including senior captain Elizabeth Carlson for Mayo. It looks like lane 5, Josie Bartfried, and lane 8, Karina Brenisvato are going to be battling for this heat. And it looks like Josie's going to come out on top. finishing in a 30.04. That's a nice improvement over last year from Josie. And rounding out the top four are Nora and Sharon.
And heat 6, swimming lane 1 for Mayo is Audrey Allen. Lane 2 for JM is Kayla Mingo. 3 for Century is Stella Morris. 4 for Mayo is Dylan Rocker. 5 for Century is Amelia Hammer. 6 for Mayo is Zia Rocker. 7 for Mayo is Amelia Dean. And 8 for Century is Amelia Hammer.
First in lane 2 looks to be John Marshall's Kayla Mingo, followed closely by lane 7's Mayo's Amelia Dean. Kayla was one of the members of JM that went to state on a relay. She's going to win this in a 28.72, followed by Amelia Dean, and then Dylan Rocker and Amelia.
And heat 7. Heat 7 is Century Bingo. So with Century across the board, swimming in lane 1 is Anna Blossman. Lane 2 is Chloe Westerby. Lane 3 is Kenzie Craddock. Lane 4 is Julie Wong. 5 is Megan Hami. 6 is Alexi Grant. 7 is Shannon Kidd. And 8 is Maggie Hubert.
Number 7. As Andy said, these are all Century swimmers. Pretty good explanation for it. We have lots of fast swimmers from all the teams. The Century has just a little bit more depth. And then under the duels, in the final season meets, that depth can really pay off to help you score the points you need to win the overall competitions. Leading us is lane 3 is Kenzie Craddock and lane 5 Megan Hobby. It's going to be Megan over Kenzie for the win, followed in lane 8 by Maggie Hubert, and then that's Waters.
And heat number 8, swimming in lane 1 for Century is Delia Wagstaff. Lane 2 for Century is Amelia Braun. Lane 3 for Mayo is Harper Mueller. Lane 4 for Century is Quinn Barone. 5 for Mayo is Olivia Wagenstein. 6 for Mayo is Violet Howard. 7 for Mayo is Madeline Beers. And 8 for Century is Abby Crom.
With heat 8 of 10. This is the top 24 fastest seated swimmers. So we're going to start to see times in the 27s now. First of the wall looks to be lane 4, Kim Barone. Also lane 7, Madeline Beers. And lane 1, Delia Wagstaff. We've got a 3-person race to the wall. Who's going to touch first? It's going to be Delia, followed by Madeline, then Quinn, and Olivia Wagenstein.
And heat number 9, swimming in lane 1 for Century is Ada Ekholm. 2 for Century is Julia Crank. 3 for Century is Katie Dow. 4 for Century is Carly Bailey. 5 for Century is Adley Poole. 6 for Century is Paige Pendle. 7 for Century is Annie Taylor. And 8 for Century is Kenzie Brockman.
This heat features 3 new swimmers for Century. Ada Ekholm in lane 1, Eddie Taylor in lane 7, and Kenzie Brockman in lane 8. Coming off the wall. It's going to be lane 4 coming in and leading them out by closing by Keenan and Poole. And then out lane 1, Ada Ethel. It's going to be Carly and then Quincy Brockman down in lane 4 for third.
And now our 10th and final heat of event number 1, the 53. Swimming in lane 1 for Mayo is Madeline Powell. Lane 2 for JM is Mason Pettenhill. Lane 3 for Century is Janet Rose. Lane 4 for Century is Chloe Magnuson. Lane 5 for Century is Sophie Bliss. Lane 6 for Mayo is Penelope Hauser. Lane 7 for Mayo is Ellie Wong. And lane 8 for Mayo is Elise Weinberg.
And we're off with heat 10, the final heat that will determine the winner of this 53. Nelson in lane 5 is Sophie Brooks, followed by her teammate in lane 4, Chloe Magnuson. We've got the two champ times coming in. And it's going to be Chloe and Sophie with their captains racing each other, followed closely also by lane 6, Penelope Hauser. And it's going to be Sophie, Chloe, and Penelope, 1, 2, 3. Followed by Elise Weingarten, Madeline Dow, Mary Long, Mason Pettengill, and John Jingles. That will wrap it up for the first event, and we will put the results of that event on the scoreboard between this and the next event, which is the 50 breaststroke.
We're going to take a 3 to 4 minute break between events. So you can stay behind the box if you really want to, but you're going to be standing there for about 3 minutes. So if you have to be in the stands and you are looking to relive your memories or tell the singing of one of your swimmers who is possibly just waking up and want to get themselves out of bed to watch their singing compete, we are live streaming on YouTube with the wonderful color commentary provided by John Litt. So if you go to Century Athletics and Activities, you should be able to find a link to it. So I think that's where it is. That's where it was last year. It's a new link, but it's essentially the same type of name. You're also looking to save it's Century HS Pool is where we're going to be streaming. If you're looking to escape the beautifully humid and warm weather that we have inside the pool today, we are going to post the results outside in the hallway where it's about 20 degrees cooler and way less humid. Okay, we're going to get started again with the next event, and the next event is going to be breaststroke. So, if you have to be here already behind the box, go ahead and if we can get it quiet in the stands, at least for the start of things, you can cheer when they're swimming. That's encouraged. So just, we need a little bit more quiet for the start, so that they can hear the beat. This is event number 2, the 50 breaststroke, swimming in, or there are 9 heats of it. This is heat 1, swimming in lane 1 for Mayo is Eliza Davis. Lane 2 for Jada is Eloise Bond. Lane 3 for Century is Sophia Shuttall. Lane 4 for Mayo is Olivia Wagenstein. 5 for Century is Julia Walk. 6 for Jada is Hannah Jones. 7 for Century is Amari Barrow. And 8 for Jada is Vivian Peters.
With the first heat of the girls' 50 breast. As we saw in the 53, a couple of the top JM swimmers are going to be swimming because they're new. We've got Eloise Bond in V2, or lane 2 that is. This is probably her best event, and she's going to be followed in second, it looks like, by lane 4, Olivia Weinstein, and lane 8, Vivian Peters. So Eloise looks to be behind Abby Tree, the second best breaststroker that JM will have this year, and she's going to finish in a 36, followed by Olivia in 39.15, and then Julia and Vivi.
Heat number 2, swimming in heat number 2, in lane 1 for Century is Cora Erickson. Lane 2 for Mayo is Casey Holbert. Lane 3 for JM is Alexandra Wilkinson. Lane 4 for JM is Abby Larson. Lane 5 for JM is Isabel Summers. Lane 6 for Century is Olivia Cornelius. Lane 7 for JM is Gabriela Perez-Molina. Lane 8 for JM is Madeline Keller.
Alright, we're off with heat 2 of the 50 breaststroke, and like heat 1, we do not have seat time, so we're going to see lots of different swimmers and lots of different paces. And taking it out fast in lane 1 and lane 8 is Cora Erickson and Madeline Keller. So again, we've got a battle of the outside lanes for this. Touching first, it looks like is Madeline. And it's going to be Madeline who's got a very nice lead, looking very strong. She's going to be challenging Eloise's time of a 36.85. And she's going to beat that pretty handily. Madeline Keller, 34.84. Taking first place easily. That'll probably be good for a top 4, top 5 finish overall in this competition. Second is Cora, followed by Casey, Gabrielle, and Olivia. of the girls' 50 breaststroke. This is the first seeded heat, so we're probably seeing a little bit closer to the middle of the pool. And it's lane 6, Dana Bonasvato, who's out to a lead, is going to touch the wall first. Amelia is a new 8th grade swimmer from Mayo. Karina, this is her second year as an 8th grader as well. And the mix for the win, though, is also lane 8, Lexi Jones. So we have Karina, followed by Lexi, and then the 42 on lane 1.
Heat number 4, swimming in lane 1 for Century is Nora Kirk. Lane 2 for Century is Kyla Mead. Lane 3 for Mayo is Eric Betzgotter. Lane 4 for Century is Allie Poole. 5 for Mayo is Ayla Howell. 6 for Century is Janet Craig. 7 for Century is Summer Hawk. And 8 for Mayo is Sharon Lee.
Breaststroke is one of the most difficult events. That is very different muscle groups than some of the other strokes. Therefore, we'll see runners see it differently in this event more so than the other 3. Leading us out in the middle of the pool is lane 4 out of pool, followed closely by Mayo's Ayla Howell. And in third, it looks to be Lauren Benskoder. So it's going to be Allie who's going to take this heat, 39.63, followed by Lynn, then Ava, and Sharon Lee outside in lane
8. And heat number 5, swimming in heat number 5, in lane 1 for Century is Lane Huber. Lane 2 for Century is Shannon Kim. Lane 3 for Century is Amelia Hanna. 4 for Century is Kenzie Craddock. 5 for Jan is Caitlin Lindbergh. 6 for Century is Matilda Hammer. 7 for Mayo is Audrey Howard. And 8 for Century is Jade Rose.
For this heat, the top seeded time is a 43-second for seed times. This one is faster. Then it's down. And there's a way to get initial time. So Julius is lane 5, lane Mingo, and lane 8, Brian. So third place
Swimming in lane 1 for Mayo is Violet Long. Lane 2 for Mayo is Allie Long. Lane 3 for Mayo is Dylan Crocker. Lane 4 for Century is Jade Carroll. 5 for Century is Stella Morris. 6 for Mayo is Martin Bueller. 7 for Century is Katie Bauer. And 8 for Century is Paige Mendel.
first 6 of the girls' 50 breast. We now start to see some varsity swimmers from the breaststroke, including lane 4's Sheila Carroll, lane 5 Stella Morris, and lane 3's Dylan Rocca. Yes, that is going to be lane 6's Heather Mueller. This is not Harper's strongest event, but as we see in some of the earlier heats, so sometimes they get a chance to put in a good time that they don't always feel. So Harper, 38.51, really nice finish. That's going to be the top time overall for all the heats now, other than the ones from Eloise and Madeline.
And heat number 7, swimming in lane 1 for males, Madeline Pierce. Lane 2 for Century's Amelia Hammer. 3 for Century's Addie Taylor. 4 for Century's Megan Hami, 5 for Century's Dealey Wagstaff, 6 for Century's Josephine Barkley, 7 for Mayo is Amelia Deepman, and 8 for Mayo is Elizabeth Carlson.
Featuring a lot of underclassmen. We have 6 8th graders battling it out along with Amelia Dean, who's a 9th grader, and then the senior captain, Elizabeth. So first to the wall is going to be Julia, followed very closely by Megan Rami and Amelia Dean.
Heat 8, swimming in lane 1 for Century's Anna Milosevic. Lane 2 for Century's Ada Ekholm. Lane 3 for Century's Chloe Vesterby. 4 for Mayo's Elise Weingarten. 5 for Century's Courtney Bailey. 6 for Century's Kenzie Brockman. 7 for Cheyenne Mason Pickton. And 8 for Century's Mary Crom.
We're off with heat 8 of 9. This is the second fastest heat. So we've got a lot of good battles here. And in the middle of the pool, it's going to be Elise Weingarten, followed by Chloe Vesterby and Carly Bailey. So it's 3, 4, 5 lanes. Also making the move nicely in lane 7 is Mason Pettengill. So it's going to be Elise. She's going to win this heat. She's got a nice lead, and she finishes in the 35. That's second overall. Let's go to Maryland. And then Chloe Vesterby, Carly Bailey, and Mason Pettengill.
And heat number 9 of 9, swimming in lane 1 for Mayo's Penelope Hauser. Lane 2 for Century's Maggie Hubert. Lane 3 for Century's Quinn Barone. Lane 4 for Century's Sophie Blix. Lane 5 for Mayo's Madeline Gow. Lane 6 for Mayo's Zia Rocker. Lane 7 for Century's Amelia Braun. And lane 8 for Century's Chloe Magnuson.
And we're off with the final heat of the 50 breast. The best event for Sophie Brooks is this event. She competed in this event at state and finished runner-up. So this will be an event we will be watching closely for her for the rest of the season. And Sophie has a lead over her teammate Quinn Barone in lane 3. And Mayo senior captain Madeline Gow in lane 5. So it's going to be Sophie in 31-32, followed by Madeline, and then Quinn Outside for fourth is Penelope Hauser.
And before people start moving up the bulkhead and other things like that, we're going to take another short break before we move on to the backstroke. So, take a walk around the pool, do whatever you need to. We'll be back in about 2 minutes. And let's get back to business. Very good. We're going to keep on going, I guess. Next event is event number 3, and it is the 50 backstroke. So if you are swimming in the 50 backstroke, get yourself mentally and I guess physically ready to win.
Yeah, you can do it after.
For JM, it is Nora Larson. Lane 4 for JM is Annabelle Headwall. Lane 5 for Mayo is Casey Over. In heat number 2, swimming in lane 1 for Century is Sophia Shamra. Lane 2 for JN is Vivian Peters. 3 for JN is Anna Johns. 4 for Mayo is Eliza Davis. 5 for Century is Cora Erickson. 6 for JN is Madeline Keller. 7 for JN is Gabriela Torres Montoya. 8 for JN is Louisa Bone.
For T3, this is the third heat of swims with no times. So we've got lots of different potentials spread in the pool, and just about any lane can lead it. And it looks like it is going to be lane 6's Julia Wong with a slight lead over Mayo's Olivia Wagner-Steed. And third out of lane 1 is Lexi Glenn, followed by teammate Olivia Cornelius. That's going to be Julia
Up next is heat number 4, Swimming in lane 1 for JM is Sophia Branstad. Lane 2 for Century is Matilda Cameron. Lane 3 for Mayo is Ava Howell. 4 for Mayo is Elizabeth White. 5 for Century is Shane Caroline. 6 for Mayo is Mary Penskotter. 7 for Century is Karina Bresvado. 8 for JM is Isabel Summers.
With 4 of 10 in the girls' 50 backstroke. This is the first seeded heat, and so the middle lanes is where we might expect to see some of the best times. And leading us is lane 3, Ava Howell from a junior from Rochester Mayo. Looks like second lane now is lane 7's. Rochester Century, Karina Bresvado, followed by Mayo's Erin Benskoy. It's going to be Ava in a 39.98. No, it's Karina in a 39.69. So Karina out-touches Ava, followed by Marin, Matilda, and Sharon.
Heat number 5, swimming in lane 1 for Century is Bryson Gladys. Lane 2 for Century is Nora Birch. 3 for JM is Charlotte Reinhofer. 4 for Century is Amelia Hanna. 5 for Mayo is Amelia Palladino. 6 for Century is Jada Crennan. 7 for Century is Kylie Mean. And 8 for Century is Layton Hubert.
Like off to the best start is lane 5, Mayo's Amelia Palladino. A nice first swim in the 50 free, and she's looking to duplicate that here in the 50 back. Really close now though. That was a bit of a turn for Amelia, so now it looks like we got lane 2, Nora Kirk taking the lead. It's just about anybody's race from lanes 2 through 6 for that second place spot. So it is going to be Nora, followed by Charlotte Reinhofer, then Amelia Palladino, and Bryson Gladys.
And heat number 6, swimming in lane 1 for Mayo is Sharon Lee. Lane 2 for Century is Stella Morris. Lane 3 for JM is Shelby Lewis. Lane 4 for Century is Summer Wong. Lane 5 for Century is Allie Poole. Lane 6 for Century is Megan Lummy. Lane 7 for Century is Amelia Hammer. Lane 8 for Mayo is Elizabeth Carlson.
For the girls' 50 backstroke. To the early lead, the good start is lane 5's Allie Poole, followed in lane 6 by a teammate, Megan Howdy. One more loss, so you get 2 underwaters to start. Underwaters got that line, and it's Allie Poole's in the waters. Put in the lead.
Heat number 7, swimming in lane 1 for Century is Chloe Vesterby. Lane 2 for Century is Anna Morosvay. Lane 3 for Mayo is Audrey Allen. 4 for Century is Annie Crom. 5 for Mayo is Violet Long. 6 for Century is Maggie Huber. 7 for Mayo is Natalie Ron. And 8 for Century is Kate Dow.
And he's number 8.
Swimming in lane 1 for Mayo is Zia Robert. Lane 2 for Century is Carly Bailey. Lane 3 for Mayo is Amelia Dean. 4 for Century is Kenzie Craddock. 5 for Mayo is Martha Mueller. 6 for Mayo is Madeline Fears. 7 for Century is Paige Hedlund. 8 for Century is Cole Barone. Heat 9, swimming in lane 1 for JM is Mason Hemphill. Lane 2 for Century is Kenzie Crawford. Lane 3 for Century is Shane Kidd. Lane 4 for Century is Delia Waxman. Lane 5 for Century is Josephine Murphy. Lane 6 for Century is Anita Eklund. Lane 7 for Century is Addie Taylor. And lane 8 for Mayo is Delia Hoffman. And the 10th and final heat of the 50 backstroke. Swimming in lane 1 for JM is Caitlin Mayo. Lane 2 for Century is Chloe Magnuson. Lane 3 for Century is Julian Giangross. Lane 4 for Century is Sophie Blix. 5 for Mayo is Elise Whitehair. 6 for Mayo is Madeline Dow. 7 for Mayo is Penelope Hauser. And 8 for Century is Amy Ron.
With a cannonball to start here and the 50 back. In this 50 back, Mayo is going to have the two strongest entrants. Both Elise and Mayo have competed at the state level and on the back. So is lane 4 and Sophie Brooks. This is a very short race. It's about everyone in this last heat is part of the top 8.
The 50-yard backstroke. We're going to take a short break before we move into the butterfly. your attention onto the scoreboard for the moment. I wish Mary and I had you right there. 3 for Century is Karina Bracevado. 4 for Jaden is Charlotte Greenmonter. 5 for Century is Olivia Cornelius. 6 for Mayo is Elizabeth White. 7 for Mayo is Amelia Palladino. And 8 for JM is Abby Larson.
We do have some seat times in this event, so we will now start to see more of that progression. And it looks like it's lane 3 by Estrada, followed by teammate lane 1, Julia Warner. Very nice turn for Julia. And the junior, Julia, is going to go ahead and win this. Olivia Cornelius is going to go ahead.
For Century is Jacob Brennan. Lane 2 for Mayo is Ava Howell. 3 for Century is Laura Kirch. 4 for Century is Stella Morris. 5 for Mayo is Sharon Reed. 6 for Century is Summer Hall. 7 for Mayo is Eric Benescada. And 8 for Century is Kyle Mead. And heat number 5, swimming in lane 1 for Century is Chloe Vesterby. Lane 2 for Century is Amelia Hannon. Lane 3 for Century is Matilda Hammer. Lane 4 for Century is Linda Hubert. Lane 5 for Century is Jayen Giangross. Lane 6 for Century is Shane Carroll. Lane 7 for Century is Shannon Kim. And lane 8 for Mayo is Elizabeth Carlson.
Number 5 of the 50 butterfly. And off to a very strong start in the middle of the pool. Lane 5, Diane Gingros. Diane is usually not swam these off the line, so swimming for 50 times. Might be a little bit slower than what she was doing. Diane got third in the 50 back. And being seated lower in this 50 fly, she's going to come easily win this heat. See what she does. Compared to the earlier swims, the 30-54 is going to be good enough for third overall. And then Chloe Vesterby gets second in the heat, followed by Amelia Hannon.
Heat number 6, swimming lane 1 for Century is Josephine Bergfried. Lane 2 for Century is Anna Volosvik. Lane 3 for Century is Amelia Hammer. 4 for Mayo is Amelia Dean. 5 for Mayo is Zia Harper. 6 for Mayo is Violet Blom. 7 for Mayo is Dylan Harper. 8 for Century is Lexi Friends. for Jacob is Caleb Bingo. Lane 2 for Century is Kenzie Craddock. Lane 3 for Century is Katie Dow. Lane 4 for Century is Eddie Beckman. 5 for Century is Patty Taylor. 6 for Century is Maggie Hubert. 7 for Century is Megan Honey. And 8 for Baylor is Madeline Beers.
We're off with 9 some time for all 33s and 34s, so this seems to be a very evenly matched team. And the best start looks like it goes to lane 4, and it is one of the new swimmers for Rochester Century, along with lane 5s. Taylor giving chase to them out in lane 8 is Madeline Beers from there. Looks like it's going to be Madeline who's going to get a little bit closest to this, and it's there. Yes, Madeline with a very nice finish, gets first, followed by either at home, Patty Taylor, and Megan Honey.
Heat number 8. Swimming in lane 1 for Century is Allie Poole. Lane 2 for Century is Olivia Braun. 3 for Century is Eddie Braun. 4 for Mayo is Allie Wong. 5 for Century is Quick Brown. 6 for Mayo is Harper Mueller. 7 for Century is Paige Mendel. And 8 for Century is Kenzie Hoffman.
And we have the second to last heat in the pool for the Pool with a late charge in second, followed by Quinn and Harper Mueller.
And heat 9 of 9. Swimming in lane 1 for JM is Mason Hennigan. Lane 2 for Mayo is Penelope Hauser. Lane 3 for Mayo is Madeline Gow. 4 for Century is Sophie Blix. 5 for Century is Chloe Magnuson. 6 for Mayo is Elise Weingarten. 7 for Century is Delia Wagstaff. And 8 for Century is Carly Manning. And that concludes the 50 fly. So we're going to take another short break before we move into the 100 IM.
Very impressive results so far. So this was last year's to see the season is a little bit lower than it was in the past years, so hopefully it leads to better improvements.
Okay, we will get started now with event number 5, the 100 high end. So if you're going to be swimming in the 100 high end, mosey on down to the bulkhead so that you can get yourself in the water. And we need to start. Swimming in heat 1 in lane 1 for Century and Sophia Sharma. Lane 2 for Jan is Elvis Park. Lane 3 for Mayo is Amelia Pellegrino. Lane 4 for Jan is Hannah Johns. 5 for Century is Lexi Green. 6 for Mayo is Olivia Weinstein. 7 for Mayo is Audrey Allen. And 8 for Century is Ari Barrow.
This Rochester Johns, lane 5's Lexi Grahams, and lane 6 Olivia Wagner. So everything for the pool is a different stroke. So we start with the butterfly, the transition to backstroke, and now they're on to the breaststroke. Breaststroke is Eloise's signature best event. And she is playing well. The other three are nothing left. Something's been Johns has the last stroke, which is the freestyle. So we'll see what time Eloise posts for the swimmers later on to chase. It's going to come in not quite under 70 seconds, but 70:58. Very nice time for Eloise. And it looks like Lexi Grahams with a strong finish is going to get second, followed by Olivia.
Heat number 2, swimming lane 1 for Century's Cora Harrison. 2 for Jan is Madeline Kelly. 3 for Jan is Alexandra Wilkinson. 4 for Century's Amelia Hanna. 5 for Jan is Gabriella Perez-Montoya. 6 for Jan is Abby Larson. 7 for Century's Julia Wong. 8 for Jan is Sophia Branstad.
For Heat 2, we also have swimmers with Alex Adams, Julia Wong is going to have the early lead. And with a very nice turn, it's going to be Lane 2's Madeline Keller who's going to take over that lead as they transition to the back straight. And third place, it's Madeline picks up about a second and a half from Julia, so she's got now a little bit of a lead as they transition into the backstroke. It doesn't look like Julia's behind. Better, so setting the top time to beat in lane 2. And Julia Wong is going to get second, followed by Amelia. off with heat number 4. This is the first seeded heat of the 100 round. So we're going to see a closer racing. It is lane 4, Noah Coach is going He's giving way to lane 6 and Sharon Lee, so it's going to be Sharon. Transitions to the west road. We've got a path for this race. Second lead is being shrunk down a little bit, each 20-25 yards. Not a lot of distance to make up a lot of time. It's been the sprint of the medley. So each stroke goes by, so focus on the transitions and focus on maintaining as much momentum as you can throughout the stroke. Nice push from lane 7 by Mary Weisler, so it's going to be Sharon, Nora, and Maren. 1:21.70. That time will be on computer, and we'll see time at 7 seconds.
Heat number 5. Swimming in lane 1 for Century's Jada Brennan. Lane 2 for Century's Matilda Parrott. Lane 3 for Century's Stella Morris. Lane 4 for Century's Amelia Hammer. Lane 5 for Mayo's Violet Hall. Lane 6 for Century's Shea Pembroke. 7 for Mayo's Elizabeth Krause. And 8 for Century's Lake Juniors.
We're off. The starters beep. It must not be very good. We had a little bit of trouble on the start there. But nonetheless, lane 4 and the end zone and it out. Shout out to everyone. Jana is an outstanding softball player who is yet to one of the top colleges. Cool to see some multi-sport athletes in the pool. So we're still going to have Mary Hammer followed by Morris going into Morris. See if the breaststroke, which is Stella's strongest stroke, as we're going down, nope, Maria's breaststroke is very slow. Maybe even extensive Stella on there. So it's going to be in there. It's good to eat.
Heat number 6, swimming in lane 1 for Feo is Dylan Rockford. Lane 2 for Century's Jane Rose. Lane 3 for Century's Megan Hahn. 4 for Century's Katie Dow. 5 for Century's Paige Kendall. 6 for Jada is Caitlin Lingo. 7 for Mayo is Madeline Pierce. And 8 for Century's Shannon Cannon.
will sprint home. And second best stroke is the freestyle though, so she's going to power her run home. And she's going to do so in 1:10.16, so that's the top 5 now overall. That's the time to beat, followed by Madeline, Megan, and Brooke.
Heat number 7, swimming in lane 1 for Century is Abby Poole. Lane 2 for Century is Josephine Berkeley. Lane 3 for Century is Lindsay Brennan. 4 for Century is Addie Taylor. 5 for Century is Chloe Vesterby. 6 for Mayo is Sia Rocker. 7 for Mayo is Abby Young. 8 for Mayo is Martha Mueller.
Seven, we've got the top 5 winning Century by 3 males. So, duel between Century and Mayo. It looks like Mayo's Haley Long is going to lead us out. Very strong butterfly. And it's always nice to get out and even try to build that momentum from stroke to stroke. So it's going to be in first. And it looks like second's going to be Addie Taylor or Addie Poole. We'll see that up in a minute. So we've got 2 Century guys working on full play. See maintaining the level. Harper a little stronger breaststroke person. Looks like Harper is going to move. And as well as lane 5's Chloe Vesterby. Breaststroke's a very strong event for Chloe. And it looks like Chloe is now challenging on Poole for that 3rd place spot. So we're going to have a bit of a race for the end. First winners in the mix, we got Harper and Haley, followed by Addie and Chloe. And it's going to be Haley who passes her teammates. So Haley started out the race in the lead, and she finishes 1:11.39. Very fast finish for Addie Poole to get second, and Harper Mueller and Vesterby.
Heat number 8. Swimming at lane 1 for Century is Eden Ekholm. Lane 2 for JM is Mason Pettengill. 3 for Century is Anna Linosevic. 4 for Century is Addie Crom. 5 for Century is Frankie Hubert. 6 for Century is Carly Bailey. 7 for Mayo is Amelia Dean. 8 for Century is Kenzie Brock.
Second Kenzie Brockman. That's going to be
over the top 9. Swimming in lane 1 for Century is Amelia Braun. Lane 2 for Century is Quinn Barone. 3 for Century is Chloe Magnuson. 4 for Century is Sophie Blix. 5 for Mayo is Matt Gatto. 6 for Mayo is Elise Weinberg. 7 for Century is Delia Maxcap. And 8 for Mayo is Penelope Hauser.
our last heat of the meet. And it's going to be one for Sophie Brooks. This was swimming stage. She will be one of the favorites. She has one of the top times at 58.64 in this event from club. We're starting to see the pro courses swim this event a little bit more. It's kind of a fun event with all those different strokes. And one of Sophie's strengths is her underwaters, and that's what she uses to get into the lead. So she makes the turn. She's leading. Lane 5, and now lane 6 for East Weingarten, and lane 3 for Madison. And that's behind third place. Outside two.
And this concludes the meet. So, if all of the people in the stands could give all of the swimmers a huge round of applause, an exciting start to the 2025 girls season. And we'd also like to remind everyone that there will be gathering and refreshments in the North Cafeteria once we get it set up.
Thank you for joining us for this first meet. In approximately 2 weeks,
I'd like to sincerely thank all of you for being to the session.
Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you come back for future meetings.